Hello, YouTube. The Red Army used a variety of weapons during the Great Patriotic War, as World War II is called in the USSR and modern Russia. The Red Army soldiers used a huge number of pistols, revolvers, submachine guns, rifles, machine guns. Among this variety, the Shpagin submachine gun, abbreviated as Pepesha 41, and Mosin rifle have always stood out. They helped the Soviets defeat the Nazi war machine. I am sure my grandfathers, who served in the Red Army during the war, had used them. Although my grandfather Misha, in the frontline military reconnaissance, used a few other weapons for snatching and capturing Nazi officers and delivering them across the enemy line. The Pepesha 41 is a selective fire, open bolt, blowback submachine gun that fires 7.62 by 25 millimeter Tokarev round. I will describe it in greater detail in another video. However, in addition to numerous advantages, the Pepesha 41 had very specific disadvantages. First of all, the Pepesha 41 turned out to be a rather heavy and bulky weapon. At the same time, despite the general manufacturability, the weapons had frankly non-technological design elements. For example, this turned out to be the notorious drum magazine, which turned out to be the most complex and unreliable design element. Nevertheless, during the Great Patriotic War, another submachine gun was produced in the USSR, which some experts call the best weapon of the Second World War. Let's find out why the submachine gun of the Sudayev system deserves such a high title. If we look at the disadvantages of the Shpagin's weapon, therefore it was decided to create a new submachine gun. The new weapon, if it was not supposed to replace the Pepesha 41, would at least be able to stand on par with it, meeting the needs of those who needed a lighter, more compact, and ergonomic machine. And the supply of such weapons in the Red Army was by no means serious. First of all, the crews of combat vehicles, parachutists, sailors, and military reconnaissance wanted such a submachine gun. However, the compact pistolet-pulemyot, as we call in Russian submachine guns, was also of interest to the shock troops, since the Pepesha 41 was not very convenient to handle in cramped trenches and destroyed urban buildings. Therefore, in 1942, a new submachine gun was created at the Sestroretsk Arms Factory in Leningrad through the efforts of Alexei Ivanovich Sudayev. In addition to Sudayev, other famous Soviet gunsmiths took part in the competition. Rukavishnikov, Korovin, and Degtyaryov tried to create a design no worse than Shpagin's. By the way, Georgy Semyonovich Shpagin himself, who created this main pistolet-pulemyot submachine gun of the Red Army, he did not stand aside. Nevertheless, according to the totality of characteristics, Sudayev's design won. This achievement is even more impressive when you realize that a successful alternative to the Pepesha 41 was created in the besieged by enemy Leningrad, where people were sitting on starvation rations and bleeding in incessant battles. Finally, in the first half of June of 1942, the new Pepes 42, as they named that submachine gun, Sudayev submachine gun, was successfully tested in real conditions by the soldiers of the Leningrad front. The Sudayev submachine gun is an example of ideal simplicity. This weapon is maximally simplified for production in industrial enterprises that have never dealt with firearms. Despite the well-known possibility of producing Papa Shah 41 in almost any factory, Papa Shah could also be produced, and it was noticeably cheaper, faster, and with serious metal savings. It is known that with triple savings in time spent, the production of the Sudayev submachine gun took 2 times less materials than in the production of the Shpagin's submachine gun. Such production success was achieved by the primitivization of production. All weapon parts were made by simple stamping, connected using pins, rivets, and welding, while the adjustment of complex assemblies was not required due to their absence. Despite its simplicity, the design of the Sudayev submachine gun had quite good, for the wartime, ergonomics. The magazine receiver shaft, equipped with a special protrusion to prevent accidental loss of the magazine, was a stamped part for convenient retention of weapons. The frame stock could be folded, which made the submachine gun PPS more convenient to carry and transport. In addition, the Sudayev submachine gun had a very successful safety mechanism with a rigid bolt lock, which allowed it to be safely carried in the cocked state. Sudayev submachine gun did not have a select fire function, and the firing mode was only automatic. Nevertheless, its relatively low rate, about 600 rounds per minute, made it possible to calmly cut off 2 or 3 shots by pressing the trigger consecutively. Thanks to more successful design solutions, classic double-row magazine for 35 rounds, frame stock, the PPS turned out to be much lighter than the Shpagin's Papa Shah. The Sudayev submachine gun with 6 loaded magazines, 210 rounds, weighed about 6.7 kilograms, while the Papa Shah 41 with 2 drums, 142 rounds, weighed about 7 kilograms. It turned out that with a 30% increase in ammunition, the Sudayev submachine gun saved about 5% of the weight of the worn equipment. Why didn't the more successful Sudayev submachine gun, from a production point of view, hit all the fronts or was accepted by all the fronts? The fact is that this submachine gun was manufactured at the industrial facilities of the besieged Leningrad. The simplicity of the design helped, and this weapon provided for the needs of the defenders of the heroic city. By 1943, the Papa Shah Shpagin's submachine gun had already been well mastered. The conversion of factories in the Soviet Union to produce Sudayev submachine gun would have been quite expensive. To summarize, it was a reliable and high-quality simple weapon. Nevertheless, you cannot rewrite history. Many Red Army soldiers went through the entire war with the Papa Shah 41, considering this weapon to be the best. The Red Army soldiers were able to identify a number of shortcomings in the design of Sudayev, which were quickly eliminated. In particular, Alexei Ivanovich Sudayev had to redo the butt, safety catch, cocking handle, barrel casing, and receiver, following the feedback from the defenders of Leningrad. Some other changes were also made to the design. The modified version of Sudayev's submachine gun, now called Papa S-42, was born in its completed form the following year, and therefore the novelty went into service under the Papa S-43 index. Okay? As a result, Alexei Sudayev would receive weapons that are in no way inferior to the Shpagin's Papa Shah in terms of operational and combat characteristics. At the same time, the PPS-43 turned out to be noticeably lighter, now 3.6 kilograms versus 4.15 to 5.3 kilograms in curved form. It was also shorter, 640 millimeters was the stock folded, and against 843 millimeters for a PPS-41. So that's what I wanted to let you know today, and I will bring you more about the weapons of the Soviet Union and modern Russia, with the most attention given to submachine guns. And if you have any suggestions for me to talk about other weapons, yes, I will definitely do my research. But if you like my videos and you like my research and you can support it, you can do so through the links you'll find to the description to this video. Please tell others about my videos. Please subscribe to my channel, but please make sure you hit the notification button. Thank you.